Paulina Grudka from Future Colors, and we are starting today's webinar on how programming skills can change your life. Before we officially start, let me give you some tips about this meeting. We will be holding it in English because we want to talk about programming in English this time. It's the first of many future webinars in English. However, if you are here and and the English is not your skill that you would like to improve, I'd like you to stay with us because you can hear some useful words and prepare maybe for your future job in IT. This webinar will be recorded, so later you can come back to this recording and watch it once again. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to write your questions in the chat. You can find it at the bottom of the screen. And this webinar, this space is for you. We will be talking with Wojciech. Wojciech will be telling us a lot, I hope, of useful information about how to start learning programming, and I will be asking him the questions. Okay, Wojciech, are you ready to start?
Yes, I am ready.
Okay. So, how programming skills can change your life? That is the question for today's webinar. And why are we speaking with you about programming? Well, Future Colors is a programming school with innovative teaching methods and with variety of programming courses. As you can see in my presentation, we are here to teach you programming, but not only. You can also learn English in IT with us. You can get career counseling if you don't know which career path in IT to choose for yourself. And about this free aptitude test, I will be speaking also later. You will get also the tools to find the right path for your future career. Future Colors also offers flexible and accessible learning method via online learning platform and by the individual approach towards our students made by our great instructors. And of course, support during recruitment. Our main goal is to help you find job in IT, and we will help you with that. Today, we will be speaking about programming, how important it is to know how to write code, how important it is to be fluent in it. We will also share tips for getting started with programming, including online sources and courses like this in Future Colors. Strategies for mastering programming skills, including practice and collaboration. These will be the topics of Wojciech, who is an experienced programmer. And we will also discuss potential career paths in programming, including software development, web development, and data analysis. But please remember, this is the place where you can ask your questions. We would like to answer them for you so that it is clear that IT is the best choice for you. Okay, let me welcome our guest, Wojciech. Wojtku, could you tell us something about yourself?
So my name is Wojciech. I am one of the mentors in Future Colors. I teach Python here. For years, I've been working in IT field for over 6 years, where I've been not only programming but also working directly with hardware, supporting software, working directly with IT clients. As of now, I am a chief technology officer and co-founder at Migrate Cloud, a migration solution startup. Well, not only Python, but also I work with tools like JavaScript, React, cloud providers like Microsoft Azure, and databases, and well, everything in between. So I believe that my technology stack is really broad. So yeah, and also I'm interested in retro cars and game dev.
Okay, we are so glad to have you on board among our instructors, and I hope that you will share some of your thoughts after teaching our students. I have a great question from Monica on our chat. What does exactly future colors mean? You know the division between blue collars and white collars workers? This division is no longer acceptable. For us, it's only future colors. So the people who will work for the future, the people who have skills in programming, coding, who care about technology and want to develop in the IT world. So this is this short introduction to our name. I will also have like 3 minutes more for my presentation, and we will go straight to the programming subject. We would like to invite you at the end of this webinar to take a look at our Python developer course. If you are interested in starting learning programming, Python Developer is the course for you. I will ask Wojciech to tell us something more about this course because he's the instructor there. But if you are interested, there will be a link provided to our website where you can learn more. Why you should choose us? Because in the price of the course, you will also get other benefits like workshops on creating a CV and a LinkedIn profile, workshops on effective job search, sharing CV with our partners. As I said before, we will help you find a new job in IT. If you are interested, really interested in finding a job after the course, we have IT job program for you. You can see that there are many steps for you to help you find your first job as a junior programmer for starters. And also, I would like to emphasize that we are teaching you 100% online on our platform. You can see the screenshot here. It looks like that. You can find everything in there. You can get your training materials. You can join live lessons and consultations. Use the chat to communicate with your peers. Watch recording of classes and submit assignments for checking. Yeah, because we do a lot of coding during our courses. And at the end of my presentation, we will be soon changing the subject to programming. But if you are really interested in learning programming, take a look at what we can offer. One-on-one consultation with our mentors who are super excited to teach you, and they are really experienced specialists. Live lessons online, practical tasks, as I said, a lot of coding here, 100% online, recruitment support for everyone, experienced mentors. Yeah, that's our core of the programming teaching. Strong preparation for your new profession, and additionally English for IT course for everyone who wants to develop their English skills. Okay, So, Wojciech, I think we can start with your presentation now. And if any of the participants have any questions regarding the courses, you can write them down in the chat. You can ask them later. You can contact us on our website. And of course, I will put the address of our website in the chat. But let's talk right now about how programming skills can change your life.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, today we'll be talking about how programming skills can actually change your life and your career. So let's start. This is the agenda, quick introduction with the second part is all about programming and its importance in today's digital age. Then we'll talk about how to get started with programming. And next, strategies for mastering programming skills. There are a few crucial ways of improving your programming skills. And at the end, we'll talk more about potential career paths and how the IT jobs actually look like right now, and what you could do after the course, or actually start right now. So quick introduction again about myself. As I previously mentioned, my name is Wojciech Niekrasz. I am a CTO at Migrate Cloud. I've been over 6 years in IT. I worked in many companies from large corporations to unicorns. If someone doesn't know what unicorn is a startup that has a very rapid state of development. So meaning that in a very short period of time, the company achieves its goals, but in terms of financial and other parameters. So my main language is Python. However, due to my experience and what I've been doing before starting my own company, I know JavaScript, C Sharp, especially in Unity. For those who know more about game development, you actually should know Unity and other game development platforms. GDScript for Godot, again, it's a language for a game development engine called Godot. And I know some Salesforce Apex, which is basically Java, but in Salesforce environment. And that's only the programming languages. In terms of other skills, because of my experience, I mainly work in clouds, meaning that networking and databases are also one of my main skills. Also, I am a amateur game developer. I've been developing games for well longer that I've been in IT. I've attended some game jams. Actually, I haven't released any of my games because I am a perfectionist, and it really needs to shine for me to show it to the world. And also, I am passionate about new technology and old cars. I actually own two classics. And I've been trying to restore them, but again, work is right now more important than my hobbies. So first of all, programming and its importance in today's digital age. What is a programming? So imagine that we are chefs and we want to cook a meal. We have some ingredients. In programming, those will be computer components like processors, operating system, maybe a networking. Then we have a recipe to make our meal, and in that case, this will be our code, and and this whole equation just results in a meal. In our case, a working application that does something. So in simple terms, the code programming is the recipe in our process of making a meal. So in technical terms, programming is the process of creating a set of instructions that tell a computer how to perform a task. The instructions are written in a language that computer can understand. That's a really high level explanation, but this should be enough to just understand what and why we program our own applications. So programming and coding is everywhere. every piece of tech needs code to run. We live in a very digitalized age, meaning that basically everything has some kind of processor inside and needs to run code to operate and do some things for us. So we have code and processors in watches right now, like smartwatches, Apple watches, and so on. Cars, there is right now, it is not possible to turn on a car without some kind of code underneath. Planes, home appliances like smart fridges, ovens, even kettles, electric kettles, and doorbells. Those are quite common right now, especially the smart doorbells that actually connects to your network and shows you who is ringing your doorbell and all that stuff. So you can see that like programming is a very very important part of our life. Code is very important part of our life, and without it, we will not we probably wouldn't be able to do stuff that we do as a society right now. Um in terms of demand, because as everyone knows, AI is taking over the world by storm. It is developing rapidly. In fact, we haven't seen any kind of technology that developed that fast as AI, even during the dot-com bubble that we had in States and Europe, where the websites and internet was just starting. And you've probably seen headlines like AI will replace developers, AI will replace everyone in tech, and also you've seen probably news about how companies are starting to fire people because of AI. That it's not 100% true, uh, s- um, because someone needs to program the AI and make AI accessible to everyone. So developers will not likely disappear within next 5 to 10 years. Well, we are going through drastic changes, so but it's not likely that it will wipe out all developers, as I mentioned. Developers will become more efficient, and AI tools like ChatGPT and GitHub Copilot will be commonly used. So what we see right now in tech, based on my previous company and all the companies that around the world, they are incorporating AI in their tool stack, meaning that developers and all IT professionals can use AI as a part of their 9 to 5 job. And we've seen great improvements in efficiency. So we see about 40 to 70% efficiency improvements in terms of how long it takes to, for example, finish an application, finish a specific feature. So uh, it is not likely that AI will replace at all, and mainly because, well, AI needs to understand first what the client wants. And from my experience, the clients of IT companies actually uh, re- are not able to specify their needs to those companies like they should. So we are always struggling with just communicating with people on how the feature needs to look or how it needs to behave. So you see that the human factor is a really important part of it. So it is not likely to replace at all in the future. LLMs, so large language models like ChatGPT or Bard from Google, without human interface are useless. We need developers to create apps and services. So that's what I mentioned before. So um, and also we need developers and specialists in terms of creating AI, creating even prompts to ask specific things to AI. So we are actually opening a lot of new jobs that haven't been there yet. But again, this is only the predictions. Those predictions can change within week or two, based on what is happening right now in IT and also in the scientific community. So, how to get started with programming? Um, So let me tell you more about how I learned programming and how I became a developer and how I learned to develop my own applications and services. Uh, to be fair and to be honest, learning programming is tough. It is not a easy. It's not an easy task. Programming is complicated. Working with computers on it's actually pretty hard. So it takes time and a lot of personal work to actually learn programming and build applications. However, well, this is it is worth it, right? Um so about my story. So I always wanted to make games. I've been trying to develop games and build my dream game on and share it with my colleagues. I made a few small games, attended some game jams. So I built a few different games in VR, 3D games, 2D games, and so on. It turned out that making games is hard, so I got demotivated. I thought to myself like, hey, it's not worth it. Like programming and 3D modeling and all that stuff, it's too much for me. So I started my IT career first as a technical support engineer, and I discovered Python, my main language to this day. So I started to learn Python. I even attended a boot camp sponsored by my previous company. And the funny thing that I remember is like why there are no semicolons, because I used C Sharp previously, which is a um, completely different programming languages in terms of like how it looks, how it feels to program in C Sharp than Python. So at the end of every line in C Sharp, you need to add a semicolon symbol to end a line. In Python, you just use enters and white spaces. So I just couldn't get over the fact that I do not need those, and I got demotivated again. But then I found out that I can improve my work by writing simple programs and automation scripts using Python. So, and actually implemented a few new solutions at my previous job when I was working as a technical support engineer. I've been able to create a dashboard like the second image that we see on the right. And from there I've been just building applications and tools for myself and for customers. And a few years later, here we are, and I am right now founding my own company. So that's how it all started. So tips and tricks based on my history in on how to learn programming. So there are a lot of different languages to learn with different pros and cons. First of all, choose widely used language. Do not start programming your first programming journey with, for example, Golang or I don't know, Dart language. Those are or Rust language. So you really want to use a widely like a popular language, because there are first of all there are a lot of free and free resources. There are a lot of people that can help you with issues that you have along the way, and also boot camps like Future Colors offer, for example, a Python bootcamp, which I am a part of as a mentor. JavaScript is also a good choice because of its popularity and the feeling that you are creating something and you see something visual right away. But main drawback of JavaScript is that it gets quite complicated along the way, and pretty rapidly complicated because of the amount of different frameworks and standards right now in web space. Other languages like Java, C Sharp, C++ are also a good choice. However, those are actually more difficult to start due to a way of using those languages. So you can use, for example, you can learn programming by making games using C Sharp in Unity. However, it is really hard then to move from C Sharp to for example, C Sharp, but with a .NET framework, meaning that you, for example, building a mobile apps or desktop apps because of the syntax that we are using. That is the main difficulty in using and learning C Sharp. Python is, in my case and in my opinion, the best one, because we do not really care about how it is written, because it is simple. We do not semicolons, brackets all the time. Code is clean, and actually, after a few hours of learning Python, you will see that it is like writing English sentences. And Python really prepares you to move to other languages, because you are not like mainly focusing on how to write a nice looking and working code, but you are learning the principles of programming, like if statements, for loops, algorithms. So that's why Python is in my opinion, the best one to learn as a first language.
Can I jump in for a second?
Yeah.
For everyone who doesn't know which path to choose, the best option is to go to our website and take the free aptitude test. And in a minute, you will find the button at the top of this page to take you there. And additionally, you should watch more webinars provided by Future Colors. For example, tomorrow we will be talking about Java. So you can watch about Python, Java, JavaScript, so front end, something different. And you can make the decision for yourself later.
Okay, yeah. So then the second like tip to start programming is to make sure that language meets your needs. That's a very important part, because to be honest, if you want to become a game developer, you want to create games, Python is not a language to make games. That is the hard truth. And I learned it a lot. I've been trying to use Python as a main language for making games. It is possible, but it is difficult. If you want to start game development, then go with C Sharp, C++, whatever language that the game engine that you are learning uses. You should learn it also. But for example, if you want to become a front-end developer, meaning that you want to create web applications, or even if you want to create mobile applications, you should start learning JavaScript. This is the go-to language as of now that allows you to not only create a pages, web applications, but also some backend stuff. There is also a huge community of building servers on JavaScript. And then also there is a framework called React Native. So you can create mobile apps using JavaScript like you are creating a web application. So JavaScript should be your first language to learn if you want to be a front-end developer. But if you want to just learn programming and then jump into other languages, or be a all-purpose software engineer, or maybe you want to work with servers or become a DevOps, and we'll talk about those positions more later, you should start with Python, because Python is widely used in different cases, even in desktop applications. And it is also possible to make some mobile applications with Python, but again, this is not a industry standard yet, due to how Python behaves on different platforms. The third tip that I really want to emphasize on is build small projects based on what you've learned. So if you are following for example, bootcamp course, tutorial, whatever, make sure to at least make the example that you are building along more personal. Think of what you are looking for in that project. Maybe like you had an idea a couple years back and you wrote it down that this would be a good idea for a project or application. Then start building it. Nothing improves your skills like building your own projects or working directly on working examples. This is the crucial part. And when I've started creating my own things, that's when my skills got my skills were developed rapidly because of just building what I wanted to build. Then, well, fourth tip: Google and right now ask ChatGPT whenever you are stuck. This is a very important part because programming is difficult and learning most things is difficult, and we are always getting stuck. So do not hesitate to Google things and check forums like Stack Overflow. And right now, because of AI, we have a great resource called, well, ChatGPT, where you can just basically copy paste your code, ask them, hey, can you explain to me what this function does? And ChatGPT, especially the new model, unfortunately paid, will give you a great overview and explanation of what the code is doing. But again, take it with a grain of salt because it is not perfect. However, uh, it will greatly help you with the basics of programming. You can ask them anything and they will actually um, respond with a proper answer. Again, ask questions. Not only to ChatGPT and Google. Ask your colleagues that you know that are in IT, or maybe ask on forums, on communities like Reddit, Twitter, everything, or Discord. Um, that's the most difficult part of my learning journey because I am not used to ask questions because I think of like, hey, it's a stupid question. There are no stupid questions. There are only, well, stupid answers, right? So that's the very important part. And the last thing, if you are completely stuck, just go to sleep and start over tomorrow. uh, that's a very important thing that I learned a lot, and I've been telling this to my students on my course, Python course. Like, if you are not making progress today, just simply go to sleep and start over tomorrow, because you will see that tomorrow you will probably fix the issue that you've been working on all day. You will fix it in 15 minutes. So that's a very, very important part.
And if I may add something from me, from Future Colors, if you want to get all the answers right, just go to one of our boot camps. For example, the Python Developer Bootcamp, for example, with Wojtek, where you can meet with your instructors, ask them questions one-on-one. You can speak with your peers, the other students, about your problems, and you can challenge yourselves. Never stop asking questions. And here with Future Colors, you can do it to the experienced programmers. Okay, thank you.
I confirm, like, a lot of my students are asking me a lot of questions, and actually, they say that's the most important part of the whole journey with Future Colors. Like, they can ask questions to a experts, specialists, and not only me but other mentors. So that's a very, very important benefit from the bootcamp at Future Colors. Okay, so ways of learning programming. There are a lot of different ways of learning programming. Some cost money, some are free. It all depends on how you want to learn and how you feel is the like it is most beneficial to you. So first of all, bootcamps. Uh, so you will get a steady path with every step written, and you know how the journey will look like. We will have access to industry veterans, so you will always have a possibility to talk with an expert, ask questions, not only related to programming but also to a environment that you are working on, because sometimes the code works, but for some reason the operating system simply does not. So this is also possible to ask those questions. And the main benefit of all of this is you will have a ready to show portfolio of projects. This is a very important part right now in IT industry. You will it's a very beneficial part so basically, if you have a lot of different small projects that you can show off to the world, you have a great GitHub repository that you can just send to your recruiter that you are talking with right now. You'll have a very much a higher chance of being hired because they see that you are passionate about, you have your own projects, and they can also see what kind of technologies you are using. So and from my point of view, as I've been recruiting other people to different companies, not all people do this. They think that if they type in Python on their resume, they will just get the job right away. No, there are a lot of different developers that are trying to be a part of this company. So you need to be better than everyone, basically. And one way of achieving this is building your portfolio, which bootcamps like Future Colors will allow you to build while you are learning your desired language. Other part, online courses, which, well, Future Colors is also a online course, but there are other like free Code Camp, Code Academy, Udemy, Coursera, YouTube. And to be honest, I think that uh, attending a bootcamp at Future Colors and at the same time, for example, watching YouTube videos about specific topics is a great addition to the whole journey, and it will definitely speed up your learning process, because but again, it all depends on how you want to learn. AI, ChatGPT is a great resource of learning programming, as I mentioned previously, and also personal projects. Think of what you want to build, then start building it. That's something that helps me when I am learning new language. Due to my previous experience, I had to learn, for example, new language in 2 weeks because I have a project that customer requires it to, for example, be written in C#, and I know only Python. So I have 2 weeks to just move to a different language and build an application for it. The best way of switching languages, learning new languages, is by building your personal projects. Think of, like, for example, Instagram clone, Facebook clone, or I don't know, Tinder clone, and use the technology that you want to learn, and you will see that you will have so many questions. And in addition to AI and Googling, you will actually learn a lot during this journey. However, this is the most difficult way of learning, because you need to be really stubborn on, on moving forward, because of the nature of, well, you are not guided by anyone. You are all alone with your project. So that's the most difficult path, in my opinion, but it is worth it to try. So, strategies for mastering programming skills. To the right, we see a programmer using a motorcycle helmet and gloves, and actually, it sometimes feels like everything is moving rapidly around, because IT is changing constantly. Not only there are new frameworks and languages being released every quarter, but technology around it is also changing rapidly. So, for example, in JavaScript, there's a trend that we see every quarter, every 3 months, a new framework that will take over the whole industry, which usually doesn't happen. However, companies like to change technologies quite often. So you will not only you will be learning programming, but you need to really be up to date with everything that is happening in the technology field that you are learning right now. So programming is only a part of IT world. So and that's a very important thing, because um, it is very beneficial if, while you are learning programming, you also learn how computers work, how network works. It is not because it's a very broad topic, and there are other paths in IT for only networking, building computers, hardware, and all that stuff. However, as a programmer, by knowing how it only on a high level how it works, it is a great benefit during the recruitment process, during your day-to-day job, and also, well, it's just fun to know more, right? Apps and services are becoming more and more complex. We see cloud computing, AI, different systems integrating with each other. Even a very simple thing like, hey, you are signing up to a new application on your phone and you want to sign in using your Google account. Underneath, there are a lot of code integrations and a lot of countless hours of building just that one button of signing in with Google. And to be honest, there are right now positions where you are only like your only job is to build buttons, like for example sign in with Google for other applications. That's how complex it is. So you see that for example, the thing, that application that you have on your Android phone needs to work also on your iPhone or on your Mac or Windows. So it is getting more complex. And there are also major players like Google, Microsoft, and Amazon in terms of cloud computing. And actually, most of the things that we do right now are in cloud. So you do not process everything on your own hardware like phone or computer. Everything is processed on the servers of this company that you are that software you are using. Security and privacy is becoming a huge focus. So that's actually a good thing for consumers, but not a good thing for programmers, because we need to think more about the design of the software, how it works, where it stores the data, and also there are a lot of regulations in the European Union and United States to comply with. So knowing just basics of it on how to create secure and private and privacy focused applications is a great benefit, but uh, make sure to not start thinking about it at the beginning of your journey. First of all, learn the language that you want to learn, and while you are mastering your skills, make sure to read more about security, about cloud computing, and all that stuff. New apps and services, meaning new ways of connecting all together. That's what I mentioned. Signing with Google, signing with Facebook. That's a great example of applications and integrations that only does a login to the application. Cloud computing is a major part of IT these days. So as I mentioned, Microsoft and Google, Amazon, and other players have their own cloud services, and probably most of the applications that you will be building in the future, if you start programming job, probably will include a some kind of cloud development. So be prepared for that. And again, AI is changing the world, not only IT, fast. And we need to move forward along with it. So how to stay up to date? uh, Staying up to date with the latest news in tech is very important. So first of all, webinars like this one, or any kind of conferences that we have in IT world, it's a great way to learn from experts about new trends in tech. So whether it's a conference about AI, about clouds, about mobile development. Basically, every month there are at least 10 conferences around the world that you can attend for free or for some kind of like 50 euros or 100 euros. Tech news. Get your news about technology from reliable sources. Do not follow news that you have, for example, in Polish media or any kind of international media that are not technology focused. They are uh, all the time. Those news are designed to get your attention, but not really provide you with a good information about what is happening in IT. Make sure to follow sources like TechCrunch or any kind of IT or tech related medias on YouTube or on Facebook, and get your information from there or from communities like Reddit or Discord, because unfortunately mass media does not show how. The great example is those firing of all those people in IT and blaming it all on AI, which is not true, and we can talk about it later. um, Join groups and communities. And Future Colors is a great example where you are not only getting a access to experts and platform, but also you are a part of community. You have a group that you are learning along with. You can make new friends. You can discuss about what is happening right now, and basically learn from each other. And well, you can talk with people like me that are well, I consider myself a really up to date person in terms of what is happening in tech industry. Always stay curious. It is the most important part of working in IT, because no matter if you have a 3 months of experience, 10 years of experience, you still need to learn new things and be curious about the world, not only in tech industry but also around you, because our lives are tied to the technology right now, and it is not possible. We are not getting back, right? So our lives will be more and more dependent on technology and IT. So how to become a better programmer? First of all, personal projects and open source. There's a funny meme that I found. So once you know how to program, just the basics, stop doing tutorials, just build your first personal project and then move, for example, to a open source project and contribute some code. For example, Linux is a open source operating system, and Linux, or basically the whole Linux thing and open source thing, is based on the communities that want to improve that software. So that's a great way to learn from each other and also to learn how to create a good code. Ask for help or use AI. Again, asking questions, most important thing. But remember, and that meme shows it all. No matter what, senior is not like a senior developer or is not a master of programming, right? We all made mistakes and we all Google everything around technology that we are using. And showcase your work. This is a very important part. If you build something that looks nice or doesn't look nice but works, just simply share it on your GitHub page, show it to the world, brag about it, because that's how you are getting a great feedback, and also you have a great conversation started with your friends. For example, you can brag about how you created an app that counts, for example, weight daily. That's something that probably they cannot do. So it's a great way to basically stay motivated. Resources for mastering programming skills. I do not recommend those platforms unless you are actually familiar with the code. So, for example, after a bootcamp or during the bootcamp at Future Colors. So there are a lot of platforms for mastering your coding skills and algorithmic skills. That includes LeetCode, Algo Expert, HackerRank, CodeWars. Those are free. If you can also pay for more questions, more explanations of the topics, and those platforms offer great amount of coding problems along with solutions. It's a great way to prepare for job interviews. That's a very important part, because as if you want to become a developer, you will probably have some whiteboard questions. So, for example, they will ask you to do a specific task in Python and do it as efficient as you can. And those platforms allows you to master those skills, because you have tens of thousands questions similar to the one that you are getting asked on, for example, technical interviews. So remember about those sites and platforms. Those are great for especially for preparing for job interviews. So potential career paths. The main thing that I want to emphasize on is not only developers work in IT. Tech industry needs other specialists like DevOps engineers, QA engineers, project managers. However, most of these positions will benefit greatly with coding skills. So myself, I've never been a full-time developer, and I've never been a typical programmer where I've had like 8 hours of coding. Due to my other skills, I decided to incorporate both worlds, like talking with customers, knowledge about networks, hardware, clouds, and all that stuff with programming. This broadened my expertise, and actually I've been a part of a niche where I actually had more even more jobs available to me because of my area of expertise, right? But again, we need developers, but think of, for example, if you have existing IT skills or you are working in a specific industry, think of how you can incorporate the programming skills that you learn, for example, in Future Colors, and incorporate that into your company or into your next job that you want to apply to. Maybe you have great social skills, And along with programming, you can be a tutor, for example, or you can help customers of companies to write code with their modules and services. So there are a lot of ways to work with code. So programming specific jobs. There are different types of developers in tech industry, not only a classic software engineer, but we differentiate them between different like branches of programming. We have backend developers. They are mainly working with Python, C Sharp, Java, Golang, C++, all those I would say a all-purpose languages, and like C Sharp or C++, like a performance focus programming languages. They are responsible for building services, building cloud. So everything that is happening under the hood for your application, that's what backend developers does. Then we have front-end developers, JavaScript using React, Angular, Vue frameworks. And this is something that is becoming more popular. Dart with a Flutter framework allows you to create a web application and mobile applications without changing your code. So it's a multi-platform application. So front-end developers, as I mentioned previously, are building the part of the platform where you can click on what you see, how you how you interact with the application. That's what front-end developer does. Then we have full stack developers. So all of the above. I consider myself a full stack developer due to working with Python and JavaScript. And as of now, I am building applications using those two languages. So full stack developers are front end and back end developers at the same time. And those to become a full stack developer, it is difficult to become a full stack developer from the beginning. So you can either mainly focus first of all on backend, then on front end, and then learn the other part of a web development and become a full stack developer. So do not start learning 3 languages at the same time. It's not gonna work, and you'll only be frustrated, and you will no longer want to work in IT. That's the hard truth. Mobile app developers. Those are working with mobile apps with languages like Java, Swift, Kotlin, Objective-C, also some C Sharp, and JavaScript is also becoming popular in the mobile space due to React Native. That's actually a good way of starting your career. If you learn, for example, Java or JavaScript, you can easily find a job in mobile app departments in companies because smartphone is here to stay with us, and right now every service has an app for it. So that's the hard reality right now. Desktop app developers depends on the platform. So to become a desktop app developer, so creating applications for your desktop, Mac or Windows or Linux, it all depends on the platform. You'll probably need to know Python or C Sharp or Java or everything together. And some JavaScript. So desktop app developers are more like full stack developers. So that's the important part for me is the IT jobs with programming. So a lot of tech positions actually require some knowledge of programming. For example, DevOps engineers, networks, cloud, Python. So what DevOps engineers does? So they are mainly responsible for all the infrastructure in terms of networks and cloud in the company, and they are monitoring the status of services. So basically looking at if everything is working as it should, automating some stuff, maybe creating their own monitoring tools, and doing some even some light development work. And to become a good DevOps engineer, and if you want to become a DevOps engineer and want to learn Python or any other programming languages, that's a great stack of knowledge, because you have networks, you have cloud, and Python is very, very popular in terms in the DevOps field, and also AI and everything. It all requires Python. Then we have QA engineers, mainly automation engineers. So QAs are people that test the software that developers write. And to be a QA automation engineer, you need to know at least one programming language. So mainly there are different frameworks for testing, like Selenium or Robot. But it would be great if you could know at least one language like Java, JavaScript, or Python. But you can start by becoming a QA engineer, like testing everything manually. Those are also very important. And then move with your career by starting, for example, to learn Python and move to a QA automation. And professional services / solution architects. So for most of my career, my full-time job was as a senior professional services engineer. So I've been a professional services consultant, as it is named in the IT field. You need to have general IT knowledge. So from how the hardware works to networks, and also you need to have a communication skills with your peers and customers. You need to know at least one programming language and all the other platform specific languages. So professional services, as I was a professional services engineer, are basically a software developers on demand for customers of the company. So, for example, someone uses a software from Google, but they want to have a specific feature enabled only for them. They have a use case that they need a specific feature in Google software. Then there comes professional services. Basically, they take requirements of the project from the customer and build those projects either solo or in a team within like 3 to 6 months or even longer. So and provide this solution to the customer, and then those solutions might be included in the end product, like the public release of the product. Actually, it's a great field to move into, because you are not getting bored, because I had like 3 different projects at the same time, and 3 of them were in different programming language. So it is not boring, but it's a difficult job, but it's, to be honest, it's really high paying due to the broad knowledge that you need to have. Data engineers, of course, they need to know databases along with at least Python or Scala. Scala is one of the greatest programming languages for data engineers and databases. But Python also is widely used with working with data. Support engineers. So if we are talking about support engineers, it's not about those people that take your first call if software is not working, more about level 2 or level 3 engineers. They are not only knowing everything about the product that they are supporting, but also they most probably know the programming languages of that product, how it's written, so they can communicate with developers or QA engineers on if something is wrong or not working at all. But also they can propose fix by building those fixes on themselves and proposing them to developer teams. So support engineers are actually right now this field is very high paying, and because of the large knowledge that they need to know about different aspects of IT, and also knowing to program is a very good benefit in support engineers jobs. So that's the main thing from me. So thank you very much for listening, and if you have any questions, ask them and I'll be more than happy to answer anything.
Wojtek, it was a pleasure to listen to you. We are right now waiting for your questions. If you have any questions, please write them in the chat. This is the space for you to get all the information needed. During the presentation of Wojtek, you could click the button here and check out the free aptitude test. And in the meantime, I will change the link to more information about the Python course. Actually, I have a question to you, Wojtek. Do you think that there are some challenges that our students are facing during the first weeks of the course? Because, as you said, learning programming is not very easy. Everyone can try it. However, learning another language like English is a bit different. Do you think that there are any challenges generally faced by our students?
I think the main difficulty that our students has is allocating time. Unfortunately, programming is very time consuming. I believe that to become a good programmer very fast, because you can be a good programmer after a year or two of learning, that's completely fine. You need to allocate at least 6 hours a week to just program, not only with the lessons that we provide at Future Colors, but also to talk um, with mentors like me, and doing also the all the theory that is on the platform. So that's the main difficulty that I see people have. But well, this is a very that's how this is a just a personal choice on how to allocate time for it.
Yeah, it's also about your mindset. You have to make decision to have a lot of time spend on learning a new thing. That would be the same with learning not only programming but also another language if you want to learn fast. And my another question: would you suggest learning Python to develop your career in the direction of AI, so artificial intelligence? Do you think that this is the right choice right now?
I believe so. I myself been studying some developing like AI on my own due to new features that we implemented at our company. So Python right now is a main language for AI development. However, we need to differentiate a few things. So first of all, the whole language models and how the AI works underneath is probably written in C++ or other languages, so very high performant languages. However, to manipulate and learn the models to, for example, models like ChatGPT have been they used Python, especially framework called PyTorch, just to learn the model, to teach the model all those things that it actually does right now. So I believe Python is the main language for AI development right now, not only for teaching models and optimizing them in terms of what it does, but also in terms of preparing data for learning, for example, large language models like ChatGPT. There are different engineers, different positions where they take the data that they want to put into AI to teach the AI different stuff. But first of all, we need to clean this data to make sure it doesn't have errors or things that, well, we don't want to AI know, for example, being racist or all that stuff. That's what's happening right now with ChatGPT. So there are different methods of doing this, and main method is just to write Python code to clean up the data of those bad things that are in the data.
Mm-hmm. So, if you are interested in ChatGPT and technologies like that may happen and may be created in the future, you can start with Python. We have a question from our participant. From your experience, can students in 14 weeks learn and find jobs?
Okay, this is a question for me, right?
Yes, the learning part definitely.
Okay. So it is difficult to answer this because again, it all depends on how much time you allocate to learn. Because one part we do at Future Colors, and me as a mentor, we are explaining everything. There's a steady learning path. We are teaching you all the new, like, up-to-date knowledge and how the applications are being written as of now. But unless there is no, like, if student does not commit enough time for just making exercises that we have on the platform or talking with mentor on, for example, weekly basis, it is to be honest, difficult to find a job and learn programming in 14 weeks. However, I see in my group there are a lot of students that commit this time, and actually they are pretty ready to find jobs, and they have a great portfolio, and I see them as a great junior developers in the future. So it is of course possible, but again, it all depends on how much time you allocate for all of this.
Yeah, and I can confirm it from the point of view of helping people find jobs. And I totally agree with you, Wojtek. If students spend a lot of time learning, doing exercises, making the projects, even and not even the ones that are required to finish the course, but also reaching for more, they don't have any problems with finding the first job. Of course, the first job may be not that well paid. It may be not in your the place of your choice, because in the position of junior, you get the first best job offer you can land, and then you can look for more, and we help you with that. So yeah, the students are able to learn the basics, work on them with our instructors, and then find jobs. If you have any other questions, this is the last moment to ask them. And if not, we will be finishing our meeting. Wojtek, you did a great job explaining everything to us. I hope that the participants, the listeners, have all the information. I think that's why they didn't ask that many questions, because everything was clear. If you are, dear participants, if you are interested in learning with us, go to our website, futurecolors.com. You can click the button here. Please do the free aptitude test and check which career path is for you. And hopefully we will meet again and talk more about Python or anything else. Remember, tomorrow is a webinar about Java if you are interested in other subjects. And thank you again, Wojtek.
Thank you very much, and I hope that I will see some of you on our courses.
Yeah, definitely. So have a great evening and see you soon. Bye.